What's up guys? As you know, this channel is all about minimalism and books, so I thought it would only make sense to do a video about my favorite books about minimalism. So in this video I'm going to show you my 5 favorite books about minimalism, and number 3 is my absolute favorite, so stick around for that. The first book I want to talk about is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. You probably have heard of this one. It's a very popular book on minimalism. Marie Kondo had a great influence on the modern minimalism movement, especially now with her Netflix show. And her book was one of the first books I read on minimalism early on after I discovered minimalism, and it really helped me with decluttering. I used the KonMari method, which is the method she proposes in her book, to declutter all of my stuff. And it's a very simple method. You pretty much just dump all of your stuff onto one big pile and then take one thing at a time, and then you look at it and ask yourself, does this spark joy? If yes, you keep it. If no, you get rid of it. So at the end of this process, you only have things that spark joy to you, which is pretty cool. So if you're new to minimalism and you need some help with decluttering and you don't really know where to start, then I think this book is a great choice for you. The second book I want to show you is Goodbye Things by Fumio Sasaki. And Fumio used to be just an average guy in Japan working an average office job, and he wasn't very happy. And at some point he discovered minimalism and he got rid of most of his stuff, and like really almost all of his stuff. He's a pretty extreme minimalist, and he completely changed his life and became a much more happy and content person. And in this book he shares a ton of very practical tips and very insightful thoughts of his. This is a book that really helped me change my mindset when it comes to stuff. Even after decluttering most of my stuff, I still felt very attached to many of the things I own, and this book really helped me to let go of this need to be attached to everything and just let go of things. Fumio Sasaki is a pretty extreme minimalist. Some people criticize that. They say that this book is too extreme and that it's unrealistic or not attainable to most people, but I disagree very much with those opinions, because I think even though he's a pretty extreme minimalist and not everybody has the chance to go to these extremes or would want to go to these extremes, the techniques he shows are applicable to everybody, and they are very useful and practical no matter what your goals with minimalism are, even if you plan on not going to the extremes that he goes to. So I would totally recommend it to you, whether you're a beginner or even if you've been into minimalism for a while and you just want to have a new perspective on things and a nice collection of practical tips, then this book is for you. The third book on this list, which is my absolute favorite, is Walden by Henry David Thoreau. Thoreau is in many ways the father of modern minimalism, and in this book he shares his experience of living in the woods for 2 years. He built himself a cabin in the woods where he lived a very simple life, and he found that the necessities of life, things like food, shelter and clothing, are actually very cheap and easy to come by, and that insight allowed him to live a very simple life and only work a few weeks per year to afford the necessities, and spend the rest of his time doing the things that he loves most: to go for long walks in the woods, enjoy nature, read, write, or spend time with friends. I found this book incredibly inspiring, and his ideas are as relevant today as they were when he wrote them, and most of the books on this list would probably not exist if it were not for Thoreau. So I think this is an absolute must-read for anybody who's interested in minimalism. The next book I want to share with you is Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. The other books on this list deal primarily with physical stuff, but in this book Cal Newport applies the principles of minimalism to the digital world. I think many of us don't only struggle with having too many things, but also with having a lot of digital clutter. I think many of us spend way too much time online. We waste away hours on social media and have our phones cluttered with all kinds of apps and other distractions, and this costs us a lot in terms of time, but also in terms of quality of life. And Cal Newport shows us in Digital Minimalism how we can apply the principles of minimalism to the digital world and how we can declutter our digital lives. And the point of this is not to get rid of all digital technology, but instead to be more mindful and more intentional about the way we use these things. And one way to do that is to do digital decluttering, which means to get rid of all those distractions, of all those things that don't bring value and that just waste time, but to use those technologies to our advantage and use them as tools to bring ourselves value, to save time and to make our lives better without distracting us. So if that is something you struggle with, I know I do, then this book might be the solution for you. The last book I want to share with you today is Essentialism by Greg McKeown. In this book, Greg applies the principles of minimalism to productivity and to the way in which we use our time. Often we have way too many to-dos and way too many commitments on our list, and in the end we spread ourselves thin and don't achieve anything because our attention is scattered on all those different things and we can't really focus on anything in particular. Instead, we should identify what's really important to us, what matters to us and what's really essential, and then put all of our effort and all of our attention into this one thing or these few things, and this will get us results far better than anything we could achieve if we scatter our attention on all kinds of stuff. So if you want to apply minimalism not only to your physical and digital lives, but also to your productivity and to your work, then give Essentialism a try. I think you will love it. So these are my favorite books about minimalism. If there are any books you can think about that I missed that should be on this list, please don't hesitate and add them in the comments below. And if you found this video interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like this. And I see you guys, if you want, in my next video.